we've got this 23-17 Rider loss to get to. And Clark, can we pull up Rod's tweet? Let's do this right off the top. And then we'll get to my thoughts, because this is the RP show. Rod was on Twitter last night, and one series into the season in the CFL is facing a crisis. This is Rod on his Twitter, at Rod Pedersen. One person to blame, at Simoni Lawrence. Send a message with a one-game suspension or forever hold your peace on player safety. That's out to the CFL. As of this morning, over 425 likes, 428 likes now, 60 retweets. It's generating a ton of buzz. 77 comments on that thread too. My initial reaction was, I put my head in my hands. 3 plays into the season, and we talked about this earlier in the day yesterday, that the whole season hinges on Zach's health. And if he can stay healthy, the Riders have a chance. And if he can't, then it's going to be a long season. And to me, this isn't a Zach problem. It's a league problem, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't Zach taking a regular little hit. He was sliding. He was taking precaution to be safe and avoid the hit. Stepping up, trying to make a play early. And
Simoni hit him, though. He hit him. You watch it in slow motion. Give him the benefit of the doubt, maybe a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. You watch it in slow motion, and there's no doubt about it. He meant to do it. That's what I really believe. And I don't know if the coach did, initiated that. I doubt it very much, but it's hard to say.
I'll give Simoni Lawrence the benefit of the doubt. He's saying the right things today.
Apologizing, but
he's apologizing.
Well, he's an old buddy. They lived together. They know each other from their Hamilton days.
But if you're Simoni Lawrence, and at the very worst, it's a 25-yard penalty, and you stay in the football game, and Zach Collaros is out, why wouldn't you make the hit?
Great trade-off, right?
Why wouldn't you hit him?
It's a great trade-off.
So the league has to set an example that this can't be allowed. Now this is the 3rd time. You go back to last year in Collaros and the hit on Brandon Bridge, and now again. The league has to set an example that this can't be tolerated.
But
that
Odell Willis did it
last
last year on both those two. And
Jeff Code as well.
Nothing happened. They talked about it. The one on Willis, he was going to be 3 game suspension right away, but at the last minute it was delayed because it had to go to a hearing, And that hearing lasted for 4 or 5 months. I don't know if he ever did. So, did he ever serve those three games? I don't remember him doing it. Do you?
No, he didn't. No. But the onus to me is on the players, and Simoni Lawrence can't make that hit. It's not Zach's fault, and that's the frustrating part. Is that all offseason we talked about, Zach Collaros needs to stay healthy, and the Riders' hopes rely on him staying healthy. That's not his fault, and that's the frustrating part. Is that the onus is on the defensive players in this instance to not make that hit. And then if you want to put the onus on the players, it needs to come down from the league. CFL player safety right now is a joke. They've talked about it. They've said, we have our best interest in the players. We're trying to protect them, yada, yada, yada. Well, right now it's a complete joke. If it's 25 yards for that hit that knocks a quarterback out of the game, regardless of who it is, if that was Mike Riley, Bo Levi Mitchell, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The fact that there was a 25-yard penalty and he stays in the game, and who knows what the suspension is, but automatic suspension, maximum fine, ejected from the game instantly if you're going to make that hit. And 10 years ago, you know what? We're not even having this conversation because the player safety issue wasn't what it is. But in this day and age, when all offseason we talked about player safety, hits to the head on quarterbacks, concussions, the fact that it's a measly 25-yard penalty and he can continue on and Zach's on the sidelines, it's a joke.
Well, we talked about this in the offseason. We talked about it at the beginning of the season. And I think because of him, Collaros, and what his situation is, and how the feeling is that he can play great if he's healthy. Simoni Lawrence knew what he was doing. He knows the situation.
Yeah.
And he was out there alone with them, and he definitely had time to alter his position and hit him lower down or in the shoulder or anything. But you watch it. He goes right to the head. He definitely goes right to the head. So I don't know if the coach has suggested that, a funny way, it would be, we would have a real good chance to win this for sure, guys, if Collaros wasn't in. Something like that, little statement he could make.
But why wouldn't you? If it's a 25-yard penalty, why wouldn't you make the hit? So that means the league has to step in and protect the players. And that prompts our poll question for today, which is up on the Rod Pedersen Show Twitter account. I think it's on the Facebook account, and it's at rodpeterson.com too, which is how many games should Simoni Lawrence be suspended for his hit on Claros? Options are 0, 1, 2, and 3+. Right now, 3+ leading the way with over 58% of the votes. 2 with 33.8% and 1 with 7%. Nobody's saying 0. Of course, there has to be something here for Simoni Lawrence. So Clark, I know he's in the back monitoring the wire to see if that comes out this morning at all while we're on the air. But guys, where would you put the suspension? I say 2 games.
I say 3.
You know what? Because there is no precedent set, and there should be, it's going to be lower than it should be, and I think he might get 1. Because they have to start setting a precedent right now. They have to establish something.
Yeah, but why don't...
And they're a year late, or 2 years late, or 3 years late from this.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but I think it'll be 1.
But why, when it happens, and there was 1, like for Willis last year was only 1, but then there was a hearing, and another hearing, and it was put off.
And then you can...
I don't think he served anything, because the hit was early in the year, like what this one is. Not quite as early, but he didn't. He was... played the whole year.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Facebook comments, and the one just rolled off the screen, but it mentioned that Simoni Lawrence may have ended a player's career, should be suspended at least 1 game. Alan says, what is the CFL concussion protocol for players getting hit? Do they sit out the entire game, or are they allowed back in? I think
you go out for 3 plays, you get evaluated. In an injury, you have to go out for 3 plays if you cause a stoppage, but in the concussion protocol, you go inside the locker room, get checked out, and if you pass the test, you're allowed back in. And that's assuming that 3 plays have passed.
Ken says in soccer, that would be an instant red card with an instant game ejection and a 1-game suspension after that. Tim, my thoughts may be extreme, but if a player knocks a player out of the game, player should be suspended for as long as that player is taken out of the game or he's out. Can't see the end of the comment here, but what does Hamilton have to lose right now? 2 games. Oh, here we go. Suspended for as long as the player that he took out of the game is injured. We've heard that a lot too, but that's very difficult because injuries sometimes aren't as related to the severity of the play.
Yeah, even in the NCAA, it's an automatic suspension. You're kicked out of the game instantly if you have a.
And in most leagues, you are, you guys. In most leagues, you're kicked right out. And they know that they won't be kicked out. He was there on the sidelines the rest of the game.
Think about the way the NHL is going nowadays. How cautious they are with player safety and hits to the head. The CFL is so far behind.
Oh, they ever.
The NFL, they're kind of trying to overdo it, but they're not ejecting guys right away. But they're calling it more.
And I'm surprised.
But the NHL is setting the bar right now in terms of player safety. And yeah, it's being overcalled a bit, and sometimes we slow it down. We're like, oh, did he hit him in the head with the shoulder, or was it a glancing blow off the chest? But still, they're protecting the players and keeping that at the priority. And the CFL is so far behind right now.
Very much behind. Because these guys are on the sidelines after they hit a guy like Simoni was on the sidelines. I think he was playing really after that. And it's just not good. It was not tough enough. And this commissioner vowed he would change that. I like him. I think he's a good guy. And he knows what he's doing. Are he trying to?
Yeah.
I don't know where the hang-up is. Yeah. You know?
Absolutely. Shane writes in on the Twitter or on the Facebook feed in the comments, epic night at Mosaic. Raptor win. They win the title and the Rider game. Riders played good after that dirty hit on the 3rd play of the game. And he sent in a picture, too. Do we have that one? The Rod Pedersen Show was at Mosaic Stadium last night for the Riders and the Raptors. So thank you, Shane, for sending in that great picture, and for the Rod Pedersen Show being there in the community with all of you at Mosaic Stadium last night. What a great crowd. Did we get an attendance number for last night?
I didn't see it.
They were expecting 22,000.
There was not 20. There was not more than there was the first game on Monday.
Clark's telling me around 10,000.
I would say 10,000.
So that's pretty good. I know it was a little slow to start with the Rider game, people leaving work and things like that, but then it started getting dialed in.
Look at that, Chad McKnight. Listen to Hamilton's call-in show after the game. And even they were upset by the hit. The host saying he should get 5 games, and he's a Hamilton fan, so people generally don't like a hit like that. I mean, it's bordering on dirty. Did the coach try to induce it? Yeah, I think he did. And now we're going to hear about us saying that, but that's what I feel about it.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpeterson.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.